Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Jason Herman, and what I got for you today is the Sony A7V Beginner's Guide. Now, this is optimized for beginners, guys, so I'm going to present this in a way assuming that you know absolutely nothing about the camera. So that is my approach to my beginner's guides. So for some of you guys that are more, camera versed, a lot of this stuff might be like too beginner oriented for you. If that's you, just skip ahead to the sections that you're looking for. I will have like navigation in the, the description area, so you can skip to the parts that you're interested in. But for those people that have never used a really awesome camera like this before, this is the video for you. I'm going to break it all down for you so you can understand in great detail. So this is going to be a multi-part series. I normally do these in one long video. I decided I don't want to do that anymore. I want to chop it up into individual videos. This will help, especially in the comments section, to keep the comments like for a particular video on topic and things like that. So I think in the grand scheme of things, it's a better way to go. So part one is what you're watching now. Part one's going to be the initial setup. I'm going to go over the camera body. I'm going to get you familiar with the camera body. I'm going to show you how to mount a lens, put the battery in there, get the battery charged up, put memory cards in there, turn the camera on, and go through the initial setup. So that's what we're going to cover in this video. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so in the box, it's pretty much going to come with a battery. It's going to come with the neck strap here. Now this can actually connect to these two little straps here. I'll show you a little illustration on how that goes. I'm not actually going to put the neck strap on right now though, because it kind of gets in the way during these tutorials. But the neck strap is great, and I highly recommend putting it on because then you can hang the camera, around your neck, and it'll hang like right here sort of thing. Definitely recommend putting this on. Also, it's going to come with a charging cord, and it's supposed to come with an AC power adapter, something similar to this. But I recommend you guys to get this one here. It's not that expensive. It's 65 watts, and it has two USB-C ports on it. So this is basically what I carry around in my camera bag all the time. I have two chargers. I have one for my iPhone, which is an older Lightning style charger. And then I have a nice long 6-foot USB-C to USB-C cable that also supports data. So I will have that stuff linked below, guys, as well. Anything I talk about that's like an accessory or whatever, I'll have linked below. So let's just get the battery in there and let's get this thing charging first thing. So here's the battery. And it goes in just like this. It only goes in one way. And when you push it down, you can hear that little click. That's the little blue lever there. And if you push on that blue lever, it'll pop the battery back out. It's like spring loaded. So that's how that works. Then on the side here, we have a bunch of ports. Now the charging ports are on the very bottom right here. So there's two USB-C ports there. The bottom one is a PD power USB 2.0. The top one is also USB PD power, but it's a 3.2 USB, so the latest and greatest. And it also has really fast data transfer, the top port. The bottom one is like an older port, but great for charging. I have a charger set up here already, so I'm just going to plug this in. And you'll see that orange light up. That's how you know that the battery is currently charging. So when that light goes out, that means the battery is fully charged. So I would recommend just leaving it plugged in like that until the battery is fully charged, and then you can unplug it. So let's just go around the camera body really quick first, and we'll do this in more detail once we turn the camera on because buttons actually do stuff, but I just want to give you a quick overview of the camera body before we do that for those beginners out there. So of course we have the nice grip here so you can hold the camera like this and put your finger right on the shutter button. That's what this is right here, the shutter button. So it's a two-stage button. We also have the on and off toggle here. You can turn the camera on and off. We got a record button. We have a bunch of custom buttons around the camera. That's what the C buttons are. So you have a C2, you have a C1 over here, you have a C3 over here, and you have a C4 down here, which is also the garbage can. Then we have wheels on this sucker. So you have a directional pad here that's also a wheel. So it's 4-directional pad, which will bring you to specific settings as well, depending on which direction you press. Then we also have this dial here, control wheel, and there's another control wheel here on the front of the grip. Now this is another control wheel for exposure comp, but you can actually custom program this as well, and it has a lock, so it won't turn by accident if you lock it, which I really like. Now up here we have the main mode dial. So we have all these different modes. I'm just going to leave it in auto mode for now. But you have program auto, aperture, shutter speed, and manual. And then you have custom 1, 2, and 3, which can be custom programmed, whatever settings you would like. It's a very nice feature. I'll talk about that more in the customization video. So below that, we have a sub dial. And you can see here, if I zoom in, that's photo mode, that's video mode, and this one here is S&Q mode, which stands for slow and quick motion. So that's where you can get like turnkey slow motion in camera, and also like time lapses. If you use the like quick motion, it'll kind of create in-camera time lapses, which is really nice. S&Q mode does not have sound though, just to let you know. What we have here is the electronic viewfinder. So there's like basically a little TV in there that you can look through, and you can hold this up to your eye, and that's what the electronic viewfinder is for. It's great for bright conditions, and there's actually a little sensor here that will turn the electronic viewfinder on if you cover that sensor. I'll show you that in more detail later. Next, we have the monitor on the back, or the LCD screen, and that will swivel out, and you can also swivel it this way. So now the screen is facing outward. I really like having it in armor mode though when I put the camera away in my bag so the screen can't get scratched. Now this screen also articulates like this. So it has this articulation where you can tilt it like that, or you could flip it out and put it in selfie mode like this. Like if it's facing you, this would be selfie mode. You could also swivel it like this if you need to aim it up and get low to the ground, or you could swivel it the other way like this, and then you can have it like over your head, you know, and looking up at the screen sort of thing. So this screen is awesome. It's like the best of everything. Now on the bottom, we have where the battery goes, but this is the 1/4-20 thread where you can put like a tripod plate, something like this, for example. You can screw on there, and then you have a tripod plate, which can then attach to a tripod nice and easily. So tripods come with these plates. So you just put the one for your tripod on there, and then you'll be good to go. Now looking at the side of the camera, we have a couple of port doors. We'll just go over this very quickly. You have the HDMI port. I'm just going to open up all these doors. So you have a full-size HDMI port on the top left. You have the microphone jack right here, the red one. Then you have a headphone jack below that, the black one. And then we already talked about these two USB-C ports. Now on this side is where the memory cards go. So let's put some memory cards in there. And it's a dual slot memory card. So you have one that acts as two different kinds of memory cards. This top slot can take the CF Express Type A cards, which look like this. This is a CF Express Type A card, and they're very, very fast, way faster than SD cards. So if you're somebody that's like a sports shooter and you're taking crazy amounts of photos at high frame rates, this will clear the buffer very fast. Also, when you're transferring files to your computer, they will come off the card extremely fast. So this is for somebody that's in like a fast-paced, high production, like quick turnaround time sort of scenario, because these cards are significantly more expensive. But the top one can handle the CF Express cards, so you can throw them in there like that, and they click in kind of similar to how the battery did. And you can click it again to pull it out. Now, this slot also takes SD cards, but you have to put them in backwards like this because it's a dual slot. And so now we have an SD card in there. The bottom one is SD card only. They are both UHS 2, which is the faster SD cards. So I usually use SanDisks, or I'll get ProGrade cards, whichever one's on sale pretty much. And you can put one in the bottom here, like so, and now we have dual cards in there. So now that we have both cards in there, we can use, and notice how this little lever works on the side here. But now that we have both cards in there, we can set it up so we could have it just video go to one card, for example, photos go to the other card, or we can have it set where RAW files will go to one card, JPEGs will go to another card, or you can have it set where everything goes to one card, and when it fills up, it'll then start using the second card. So there's quite a few ways you could have this set. You can also just have it like duplicate. So whatever goes to the one card will go to the other card as well as a full-fledged backup. So it's very handy for professional work like weddings and stuff like that, for example. God forbid a card fails. You definitely want to have a backup when doing stuff like that. Corporate gigs, things like this. So we got memory cards in there. We got a battery in there. We got this charged. All right, so now it's time to put a lens on. So I have two different lenses here, so I just wanted to show you quickly. I have this prime lens. So this is a 20mm f1.8 prime lens. That means it won't zoom. It's just 20mm. Now the other lens I have here is a 16-35. So this lens zooms. See that? So it actually has a variable zoom. You can go all the way from 16, which is extremely wide, to 20mm, which is what this other lens is, and then you can zoom all the way to 35mm if you need that like extra reach. So that's a zoom lens. I'm just going to put the prime lens on for now though for the studio stuff here because it works kind of perfect in the studio. So what we got to do is we just got to take this body cap off here. So we turn that counterclockwise and that comes off. And notice the little notch there. That notch marries up with that white dot. And guys, in here is your sensor. So you want to make sure you never touch that. You don't want dust getting in there. You always want a body cap on there or a lens. So let's get a lens put on there. And notice how the lens has a white dot as well. So that white dot marries up to the white dot on the flange. So we're just going to marry that up and then we twist clockwise and it clicks. Now that click is the lens pin and there's a button right here to release it. So if we press this button, we could then untwist the lens. And now if you look, there's that steel pin there. And you can see that pin going in and out as we push this button. That's what locks the lens on. So I'm just going to put that back on and you can hear that click. That's that pin. So now the lens is locked on. So we just got to take the lens cap off. And we have a lens hood here we can put on as well. And notice how the lens hood also has like a little dash there that you line up and then it'll lock into place with the little dot there. All right, so we're pretty much all set. So one more thing I wanted to show you though is up here we have a hot shoe. And if we take this little cover off, this hot shoe is where you can mount stuff. Now you can mount stuff like microphones, like actually smart microphones like Sony makes will electronically connect in there. And you can actually get really, really high quality audio and it'll just electronically handle the audio and put it right into your video file for you. The other alternative, which is what I normally use, is a mic like this. This is the Sennheiser MKE 400, as you can see right here. And it's not like a smart one, it's just like a passive. So what it would do though is you basically just slide this on and then you can tighten it down like that, and then this plug here will plug into the microphone on the side here, the little microphone port. So we can just swivel this around and plug it in like so, like that. Now we're going to have like ridiculously good high quality audio on the camera and it's automatically going to embed into the video file, just as an example, set up this way. So you can use your hot shoe for a bunch of different stuff. And I use this all the time, this setup like this, when I'm recording in front of the camera outside in the field. This is exactly how I have it set up. So this hot shoe is good for a lot of different things. You can also hook up things like a monitor. So I have this monitor here, this Atmos Ninja monitor. And what I use this for is when I'm recording my screen. So I could just screw this on like that. I could aim this down a little bit. And then over here we have that full-size HDMI that I showed you earlier. That basically would just plug in here like so. And now when I use the camera, I'm going to have this huge monitor to use. And it'll help you. The monitors have tools like false color and stuff. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that the hot shoe can be used for accessories like this. I'm just going to put this back on so I don't lose it. And it'll help protect those pins up there on the top of the camera. So now we're ready to turn this beast on and go through the initial setup. So I'm just going to take this lens hood off because I want to flip the camera up and have it sit nice and flat like this. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera on like so. All right, so this is what we are presented with first. Now, we could use a couple different ways to navigate here. This is a touch screen, so we can just touch around. Like I could just touch English, for example, and that will work. But you can also use this pad here. This is a directional pad. You could also use this joystick here, which is also like kind of like a directional pad, but just it's easier to use with your thumb. So the center button here is also the OK button or the set button. So I'm just going to click the center button. See that? And it worked. Or I could just hit set. if I wanted to. So this here is for the visually impaired. So this will actually enable like a screen reader, so you can have the camera like read to you like what setting you're on and stuff like that. I'm not going to set that up right now, but it's cool that it has features like this for those visually impaired. Now, this is talking about biometric data. What that is referring to is you can actually store faces on the camera to help the camera prioritize who you want it to focus on. So if there's like a group of kids and you want the camera to focus on just your kid, you can put your kid's face in there and it'll prioritize it. That's the biometric data though, like the facial is being stored on the camera. So it's just letting you know that. I can just click I understand. Now it's telling you about the Creators app. We're not going to go over that right now. I have a dedicated video on the Creators app. What that is you can install it on your mobile device and then you can like transfer files like photos and stuff right to your smartphone, or like over Bluetooth and stuff. It's a pretty cool app and how it works and stuff. That'll be linked below in the related video area, just so you guys know. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit the garbage can and we'll set this on camera later, sort of thing, as opposed to setting it right now. Now here it wants us to set up the date and time. So I'm just going to click OK, and it's set up for New York, which is where I live. So I'm going to click OK. That's fine. Now we just have to set the date. So it is December 6th for me right now, 2025. And what time is it? It's 11:46. There we go. Now we also have 24-hour time if you prefer to use like military time, for example. I'm just going to click OK here. Actually, I'll click this time. OK. So what this is talking about is the camera automatically turning off when the camera gets like pretty warm. So when recording in 4K 60, for example, for long periods of time, the camera is definitely going to start to heat up. Now, if you want to let the camera go longer before it shuts off, you want to turn this setting on. Now, Sony recommends you use a tripod for this because the camera gets quite warm. It doesn't get hot where it's going to like burn you or anything like that, but it definitely gets warm. So it's just recommending you use a tripod and stuff. So I'm just going to click set right now. I want that on and I'm going to click OK. Yep. And then this is just letting us know about the app again, that we can transfer photos and stuff with it. So I'm just going to click OK again. All right, so now it's referring to the gestures that are available because this is a touchscreen. So we can actually swipe in from the edges to bring these like menu items in, or you can swipe up from the bottom to bring in the function menu. So let me show you that now. So again, guys, just to be clear, I am in photo mode right there, and I'm in auto, so the green option. So make sure your camera's set the same as mine so we can follow along. All right, guys, let's just go around the screen here. I just want to show you some of this stuff. First, let's swipe. So if we swipe up, that is the function menu. Now you can also hit the function button right here, and that'll bring up that menu as well, see? Now another thing you can do is swipe in from the edges, and then we get all these other buttons. So this is just more advanced controls on how to control the camera. So that's pretty much how that works. Now, going around the camera on the top left, that's how many photos you could take in the current quality that is selected, which is JPEG fine, 33 megapixel. Above that is the autofocus mode, which it's set to A by default. Then over here we have battery life, so I need to charge it. It's at 73% right now. Now over here we have a touch shutter button here, so this is going to act as a shutter button. This is a record button if you want to record. This is subject detection. You can change that depending on what subject you're shooting. More about that later. This is touch tracking. This is a playback menu button. You also have a playback menu button right here. Then on the bottom here, we have ISO. That's the sensor sensitivity. It's set to auto right now because we're in full auto mode. So full auto mode is going to basically do all the thinking for you. So it's just easiest way to get out there and start using the camera and get great results. So if you don't know like all the intricacies of photo and video and stuff like that, I recommend just leaving it in auto mode for now and having some fun and using the camera a little bit. So up here on the left is the auto mode, and it auto senses what we're doing. So right now it thinks it's in low light because it's, you know, I have it pointing at the desk, but you see when I raise it up, it's going to change. Now it's just in straight up intelligent auto mode. So this is in low light mode. sort of thing. So below that is your drive mode. Now this is what you can change for continuous shooting and stuff. So when you're taking a photo, you really want to be steady with the camera. You don't want to like willy-nilly hold it out like this and just point and shoot. You really want to kind of like get it close to your body, brace yourself if you're using the screen. I recommend using the viewfinder. It's extremely immersive. When you look through it, like all the light is blocked. It's super easy to use in bright conditions. And you may have to adjust the viewfinder for your vision. There's a little setting right here called a diopter, and you can turn this right here to make the viewfinder look like sharp. If it's not sharp, just turn that. Also, there's a little sensor here that turns the viewfinder on. You can see it turning on when I cover it. See the viewfinder right there? If I block that sensor, it turns on. So that's how it automatically switches to the viewfinder when you put your eye up to the camera. So then when you want to take a photo, you can pretty much just press like that and take the photo. It's a two-stage shutter button. So the first press will focus, the second press will take the photo, or you could just press it all at once, like that. And then to see your photos, you can go into the playback menu area, and that will show you your photo. Now this is a touch interface as well, so you could double click and it'll zoom in for you, and then you could drag around, check your focus, for example. You could double tap again and it'll go out. You can also swipe and it'll go to like the previous photo. You can see on the top there it says 2 of 3, and now it says 1 of 3 because I took 3 separate shots. You can also hit the AF on button to zoom in, like so, and then you can zoom out with this wheel, and you can navigate around with the wheel or the joystick. Many ways to do this type of stuff. And if you hit the menu button, it'll go back to like the full size, like so. And now what you can do also is you can hit this display button to change what you see. So the RGB histogram here will let you know what the levels are for all the different colors, and all the other information that the camera was set to when you took the photo is there. Those things that are blinking, you might see those little blinkies. That's letting you know if there's an overexposed area. So the metal back there was a little bit bright, so that's blinking just to let you know. And you hit display again, and so forth. Now, if we go to take a photo, so you can also press the display button here while taking photos and stuff to change what screen you see. This one shows you all sorts of information. It's got the auto leveler thing there, you can see. If you keep pressing the display button, you can see here, this is pretty basic. Here's a little less information. You can swipe these things out of the way if you want a nice clean look as well. Now this one I really like. It's got the leveler and it has the histogram. So the histogram is a great exposure tool. You can see how it changes depending on what the camera is seeing. So that's a really dark image there. You can see it's all the way to the left. If you take that away, you can see how it, swivels out, and it basically gives you a visual illustration of what the camera's exposure is seeing. And down here you just have your camera settings. You got your f-stop and your shutter speed, but in full auto mode the camera is choosing that for you. That is about it for part 1. You guys are ready to go in full auto mode if you want to go out there and start taking some pictures. I highly recommend it. Have some fun, spend like an hour or 2 minimum. Take some photos of your dog, your coffee cup, your food, whatever. You could flip the screen into selfie mode, take some selfie shots if you want. Just get a little feel for the camera and just take some photos. Then go in the playback menu and look at them. Get just an understanding of how that works. Then come back, guys. We're going to go over photo mode, full-fledged hardcore detail in the next video. Then we're going to cover video in a video after that, and more videos as far as customization goes, autofocus settings. It's going to get pretty intense if you want to follow along. So I'll catch up with you guys in the next video, and have a great day.